FPL Gameweek23 Team Selection on the FPL Joe YouTube channel. Today we'll be recapping Gameweek 22 and discussing all the major considerations for my Gameweek 23 transfer plans, including all future plans as we approach the Double and Blank Gameweeks. And of course, all timestamps will be in the description if you want to skip to a specific part. But first things first, a massive thank you to FPL Focal for his shout out last week. The channel skyrocketed from 28 subscribers at the start of the day to over 500 subscribers by the end of the day, and up to almost 700 now. As you might be able to tell, I put a huge amount of work into the graphics and editing on this channel, and seeing all the support and recognition has been absolutely incredible. It's been a great week reading all of your comments and responding to all of your transfer dilemmas. So, to everyone who's new, a very warm welcome to the FPL Joe channel. And without further ado, let's take a look at how I did in Gameweek 22. So 55 points all out, another big green arrow from 56k, now up to 29k, launching my team into the top 50k, and with sights now set on the top 10k, which is around a 20 point gap from where I am now. And who else to start with but Bruno Fernandes. Bruno was absolutely pivotal in United's dominant 2-0 win against Man City. He provided an assist, secured 14 defcon and 2 bonus for a 10-pointer. He even had a goal ruled out for offside and would have assisted a Maguire header had it not hit the post. United actually had 3 goals ruled out for offside and hit the post twice in this one, so in my eyes there's no better midfield asset in FPL right now than Bruno. The only caveat is that United go away to Arsenal next week, the undisputed best defence in Europe. So for people interested in bringing him in, we'll be covering that more in my team selection. But for now, for his double-digit haul on his return to the team, Bruno Fernandes is my team's MVP for Gameweek 22. And elsewhere in the team, the Arsenal defensive triple-up secured their second clean sheet in a row, 19 points from them this week with Gabriel's 8-pointer. Adding that to the 18 points from Gameweek 21, I couldn't be happier with the defensive triple-up. Lewis Hall also locked in a 9-pointer, taking a clean sheet and 3 bonus points in a 0-0 draw against Wolves. Enzo got an assist and a clean sheet for a 6-pointer in midfield, but Gordon continues to frustrate, coming away with just 3 points against Wolves, subbed off in the 67th minute. Then in his usual fashion, he went on to score in the midweek fixture. And then more blanks still for Haaland and Foden, who between them have had just one attacking return in the past 5 game weeks. So with that, let's move on to my Gameweek 23 team selection. We'll start by substituting Collins back in for Lacroix, making full use of the nice rotation that they have. And then for transfers, we'll be looking at the next 9 game weeks to take us all the way up to Game Week 31. For the first time this season, I've updated these graphics to include the double and blank game weeks. In this case, the potential double game week in Game Week 26, and the guaranteed blank game week in Game Week 31, but with the fixtures still unknown for sure. The blanks in Game Week 31 are due to the EFL Cup final, with the semi-finals featuring Arsenal vs Chelsea and Man City vs Newcastle. Whichever team progresses from each of those games will have a blank in Game Week 31. I've included the potential double in Game Week 26 for Arsenal, which we're still awaiting confirmation on officially, although reputable sources on fixture scheduling have suggested it's more likely now than not, given they've already secured a top 8 finish in the UCL League phase, leaving that midweek free. If the Premier League do want to move the games forwards therefore, which has been the preference in recent years, the only blocker will be if Chelsea can beat them, and they'll have to do that at the Emirates after Arsenal 3-2 win away at Stamford Bridge, a very tall order. This would undo Arsenal's double game week in 26 and blank game week in 31, with Chelsea's game week 31 fixture against Everton instead being the one which is displaced, likely to game week 32. And with City's 2-0 victory against Newcastle at St James's Park, they're also in pole position to progress to the final. That means displacing their game week 31 game against Palace, likely also to game week 33. So with that in mind, we've got expected blanks for Man City, Palace, Arsenal and Wolves in game week 31. Now looking at the key fixture swings. Chelsea remain the team to target in the short term, with an incredible fixture run from game weeks 24 to 27. Newcastle's fixtures are going to take a turn for the worse. Arsenal's fantastic double game week fixtures mean a double up or a triple up are a high priority if you're not already there, but really it's from game week 24 that most of the big swings are going to happen, made clear by how many green fixtures we see in the game week 23 near the bottom of the overall 9-week fixture ticker, which is sorted by average difficulty across the entire range. So for my team, there are 2 players I'm planning to transfer out by Game Week 24. First is Gordon, 11 points from a fixture run of Burnley, Palace, Leeds and Wolves. And what's worse is that he's not even looking sharp. He's miles away from goal and barely getting any chances. He's actually been outperformed in XGI by Hall in 3 of the last 4 games. But on that note, Hall's actually looked really good recently. He's racking up almost 0.2 XGI per game, taking some corners, which Newcastle have had 142 of this season, making them top of the league by this metric, 15 more than Arsenal even. And Newcastle's defensive data is also shockingly good, ranking second best in the league for XGC, meaning they've been quite unlucky not to convert more clean sheets. Defcons aren't his strong point, but he's playing a very advanced role currently and creating lots of chances. Plus, he does love a long range attempt on goal when given the opportunity. So honestly, he doesn't even feel like a priority sell right now, but with Newcastle's fixtures turning, there's a fair case for moving them on together as a pair, especially with some of the alternatives that are available. So the two pairs of players who I'm considering moving to are Palmer and Mukiele, or Mbeumo or Chalobah. With only one Chelsea spot available due to Mark Yeo being stuck on the bench, I'll be locked in to whichever move I make. Notably, due to a lack of funds this week, I can't do Gordon to Palmer in one move, and there's no incentive to move Gordon to Mbeumo this week given United play away at Arsenal. And on that note, let's come back to Bruno quickly. Looking at this image, courtesy of the official FPL Twitter, Bruno is the most transferred in player in Game Week 23 so far, followed, although some way behind, by Mbeumo and Dorgu, and given the season that he's having, it's not hard to see why many managers are making the move. Looking at the top performing midfielders so far, and bearing in mind that he's already missed 4 games with injury, he's still 4th for total points, behind Rice by only 9 points, who's only missed 1 game. His numbers are also some of the best in the league, whether you're looking at goals, assists, both expected and realised, DEFCON and bonus. And that's backed up by the numbers. No other midfielder has more than Bruno's 6.1 points per match. So do I think he's the best midfielder in FPL this season? Yes. However, do I think buying him is a good decision in Game Week 23? No. The only player I'd be looking to transfer out to buy Bruno in this week is Cunha. It's a move you're guaranteed to want to make in the future as he's simply the better asset out of the two, and given he's already playing Arsenal this week, you're not downgrading fixtures either. But that Arsenal away fixture is not to be ignored. Even for one of the best attacking sides in the league, breaking down the Arsenal defence is no easy feat. And also, regarding the decisive victory over City in Game Week 22, United were undoubtedly electric, putting up one of the best performances I've seen since the Ferguson era. But there are a couple of key points to mention. City's backline was hampered by injuries, and in recent weeks their form has been a level below their usual standards, epitomised by a 3-1 loss versus Bodo in their midweek UCL game. United, on the other hand, have actually shown flurries of brilliance against strong opposition, basically teams who control possession, in recent seasons already, very much like this one where United had only 32% possession, despite racking up 4 times City's XG. But it's the games where United have had the possession where they've historically struggled, where the onus is on them to break down a low block, and ultimately these are the games that as FPL managers we want to be targeting for points. So before we go rushing into a United double up or triple up, I'd maybe wait to see how we perform against Fulham. I'd also be interested to see how Carrick chooses to rotate his attacking players, with the likes of Mbeumo, Cunha, Šeško, Ahmad, Dorgu, Mount and Xerxes all playing in advanced roles prior to his arrival. This all to say, Bruno is a great pick, and Mbeumo probably is too, but I'd hold fire until after Arsenal, unless you're replacing Cunha. Due to the similar prices and concerns over form and fitness, Foden is also on the chopping block for many managers eyeing up Bruno, but my gut feeling would be to give him the Game Week 23 fixture against Wolves and then make that move in Game Week 24. With that all said, let's revisit these potential moves for Game Week 23. So if I do make a transfer in Game Week 23, it's going to be a defender, meaning Hall to either Mukiele or Chalobah. I'd then make the other transfer in the pair, Gordon to either Palmer or Mbeumo in Game Week 24. To demonstrate why, let's have a look through the fixtures, and we'll start with Game Week 23, transferring Hall to Mukiele. This gives our team an immediate boost, hopping into Sunderland's excellent next 2 fixtures, West Ham and Burnley back to back. Mukiele also represents great value at only 4.4 million, yet still ranked 7th in total points for defenders, owing to a fantastic record of over 10 DEFCONs per 90 and decent attacking returns as well. And then moving into Game Week 24, we get the second of Mukiele's great fixtures, and we're going to swap Lacroix to Collins again. We'd then use the funds from Mukiele's transfer to move Gordon to Palmer. This gives us arguably the best Chelsea double-up available, with an incredibly high ceiling if Palmer can stay fit. But it also begs the question, can Palmer stay fit? He's been battling injury all season, is known to have a long-running issue requiring surgery, but which would put him out of contention for the World Cup squad. He's missed the last 2 midweek fixtures and is being closely managed, which doesn't bode well for Game Week 26, which is itself a midweek fixture. And against easy opposition too, the whole reason we're bringing him in, could be the perfect opportunity to rest him. And besides that, even if he can stay fit, is his recent form actually good enough to make the case for his 10.4 million price? And the other big issue becomes apparent when we move to Game Week 25. After Mukiele's excellent Game Week 23 and 24 fixtures, Sunderland's fixture run gets a lot tougher. The Stadium of Light, their home ground, has been a fortress for them defensively, and is a big part of the appeal in owning Sunderland defenders. But with only 3 home games until Game Week 31 against Liverpool, Fulham and Brighton, Mukiele's utility drops significantly from Game Week 25 onwards. And to compound this, any moves we do want to make are more of a challenge, with so much team value tied up in Palmer. So what's the alternative? Well, let's jump back to Game Week 23 to have a look at the other transfer. We'll start by undoing the Mukiele transfer, and instead transfer Hall to Chalobah. Looking at the predicted clean sheets courtesy of 11and5.com, Chelsea's excellent fixture run puts them in second for expected clean sheets over the next 6 game weeks, even with that tough Arsenal fixture in game week 28. And of course, Arsenal are still in a league of their own, especially with the possibility of an extra game in game week 26, so I'm very happy to have that defensive triple up for this run. So to target these, Chalobah is undoubtedly one of the best Chelsea options. He's a nailed starter, which is crucial for that midweek fixture in game week 26, he has decent DEFCON opportunities, and he offers some attacking threat from corners as well. But the main criticism is the quality of Chelsea's defence overall. They're 10th in the league for XGC, and have been very fortunate not to concede plenty more goals than they already have. But if we do go with him, let's look on to game week 24. Chalobah's now going to begin that great fixture run, and we'd swap Lacroix to Collins again. We can then transfer Gordon to Mbeumo, whose great fixture run also starts in game week 24. Even with the uncertainty, there likely is no better United double up than Bruno and Mbeumo, and if their form does hold strong under Carrick, with Bruno playing as the 10 to supply Mbeumo, they could be a formidable attacking duo to own. But the difference with this draft is how the team looks from game week 25 onwards. With funds available, we can afford to make other moves to improve the team, such as upgrading Potts to Tavernier if he's fit, upgrading Lacroix to Munoz, again if he's fit, but crucially, with no pressing issues, allowing us to bank up transfers to dead end into game week 31. And to recap, dead ending in FPL means setting up your team for a single game week with no regard for how that team will look afterwards, such as selling all of your Arsenal and City players in game week 31 when they blank. It's usually paired with a wild card the following week, allowing you to buy back these key players alongside other key assets that you might want, and this also facilitates a really strong bench boost in double game week 33. So the Chalobah and Mbeumo pairing looks a strong contender, but there's one slightly more boring option to consider as well. So moving back to game week 23, as always when there's a game week that comes right before a fixture swing like this one, there's a case for just rolling the transfer. This is compounded by the uncertainty around Palmer's minutes, as well as the fixture that I'd be sticking with, Hall at home to Villa, not actually being that bad. And the only player who I'm keen to get rid of, Gordon, is stuck in my team till game week 24 anyway, because the replacements are either no better in 23 or are too expensive to do with one free transfer. So as far as which route I'm going to go with, I'll be keeping an eye out for news on Palmer's injury. And with Mukiele's 2 good fixtures starting game week 23, if I do decide to go that way, I'll need to pick him up now, as it'll be too late to jump on this double up by 24. So either rolling or making the Chalobah move feel like the more likely options right now, just due to the information availability that we have. And with that, let's move on to the captaincy, looking at predicted points courtesy of FPL Review and Fantasy Football Hub. Despite his really poor recent form, and Wolves gradually picking up in form, Haaland is still going to get the armband for game week 23. I have to feel that defeat at Bodo was somewhat of a breaking point for City, and I'm expecting a real hunger and desire to rebound strong in the league, not least due to the grilling that Pep will have given his players following that game. Man City, having also dropped a lot of points recently in the league, means a win is vital to keep up any sort of pace with current runaway leaders Arsenal. And then the vice-captaincy this week is going to be going on Thiago against Forest. Despite a blanking game week 22 against Chelsea, Brentford's attack continued to look really dominant. Plus, with Dango Ouattara now settled back in from AFCON, who won 4 penalties for Thiago earlier in the season, his odds of a return look even better. Forest also have a Thursday Europa League fixture this week, meaning they'll be stretched thin with limited squad depth, and with only a 3-day turnaround till their game against Brentford on Sunday. And that's going to wrap up my Game Week 23 team selection. Drop a comment with any questions that you need answering for Game Week 23, and I'll respond with my thoughts before the deadline. With that, if you enjoyed the video, a like and subscribe would go a huge way in supporting this new channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back to prepare shortly for Game Week 24, where many managers are preparing to play their final wildcard of the season. Best of luck, and fingers crossed for another green arrow.